Letia switched up. Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
But in a fiery way.
She didn't switch
she
up.
Saved.
She flipped a switch.
She
flipped
flipped
a
the
switch.
switch.
Bang. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of BachMakers. Make sure to
like,
comment,
and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. Keep watching. Hello everyone, welcome back to BachMakers presented by Good Time Media. I am Wyatt. That is Michael. And we are here after Grant's 3-hour finale. We just felt like we ran a marathon, and we're here to recap. Where do we start? Where do we begin with this? This is going to be all over the place, as the finale recaps always are, because it's very reactionary. Who knows what we're going to say, but Mike, what thoughts? Opening monologue? What do we think?
I mean, I feel like I got pulled in 4 million different places the whole episode with just all of the stuff that happened and all of the, I guess, drama / like things that were said, but then maybe not addressed, and then things that were addressed, but maybe not said. And I was like left and right. Like it was a tennis match, not even a marathon. We're not running a 3-hour marathon. It's just a tennis match. Boom, 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 boom. Kind of just tugged left and right.
So I think the best way to attack this is let's knock out a few of the small little storylines that we want to knock out, and then we can cover the huge things. So like leading up to it, stand out. Charity, Clayton, and Gary hot seat was not on my bingo card for this finale. Great to see them. Very funny to see them. 3 totally different people in the sense where Charity is beloved by all of Bachelor Nation. Clayton is hated by all of Bachelor Nation, but kind of funny and in on the joke. Gary is hated by Bachelor Nation. I don't think he's in on the joke. It's the 3 different phases, but that was very interesting to see. Happy to see Clayton again. Didn't think we'd be talking about him 2 minutes into this finale recap, but here we are.
No, I think Clayton's over it. I think Bachelor Nation's over the whole Clayton thing. It was so long ago. Susie's, I think, in a relationship now, and Gabby's lesbian, so I don't think she cares anymore. She's just one of the traitors. Like, it's all in the past. Rachel Recchia has been on like 5 reality shows since. Like, come on. But yeah, no, it's not. I'm very surprised to see them. I did not miss Gary on my screen, to be honest. Did not miss him. Awesome seeing Charity again. I'm sure because she was there, they gave her and Dotun another trip, which was cool. Probably.
Of course, they always do.
But yeah, then we had the typical stuff at the finale, like the typical talking to the family.
So
I feel like that's the next.
So
you gotta go.
They meet the families. That all happens. And we get a little tidbit that becomes a huge storyline later on where Grant is talking to his dad, which I want to, before we get into everything, shout out Grant's dad, because that man has been through more in life than any of us combined. And he's just so raw in what he's talking about. He's so genuine, and you can tell it's coming from a place of just pure love for his son. And so I really appreciated every time he was on screen. So I do want to make that very clear. But something that comes up when he's talking to...
Kudos to you for that.
Kudos to Grant's dad. It comes up, the topic of a timeline comes up. And I think that is the one through line through all of this 3-hour finale chaos. The timeline that apparently came up in week 2, but we're just now hearing about it, is that Letia is looking to try to have kids in the next 2 years. And Grant is worried that, like, what if I don't want that in 2 years? What if and again, he summed it up very bluntly, and I don't think appropriately, saying, I have a 30-year-old who knows what she wants, and then I have another relationship which is more fun. Not a lot to defend there. Not a ton to defend there.
You can't say that. Even if you think it, you can't say that out loud, especially if then you're choosing the relationship with more fun, which
Mhm.
not saying there's anything wrong with
Yeah.
that. And there's obviously more to his relationship with Juliana than fun. And, we saw that. But let's be careful with your words. I think
Mhm.
looking back, I mean, this was filmed what? We're talking now like 5 months ago.
At least, yeah.
5 months ago. Like, I'm sure he'd take a lot back. And you could tell when he was there after the final rose that he regretted a lot of things he said, rightfully
Mhm.
so. And I think he's very glad that this season is in the past and that it was shorter than regular seasons. I'm glad it was. He thinks it was 8 episodes. He probably wishes it was 4.
Yeah, as fast as we kept saying this season was like, oh, it's blowing by. Grant was praying for less weeks. He's like, can we just please get to the end here? I do want to make a point talking about Grant because there's a lot of things we're going to say about Grant today where at the end of the day, Grant's not a bad person. We don't think that about Grant. Did he say some dumb things? Yeah, we all would in that situation. And along those lines, I do want to say, I mentioned this on the live stream. I'm starting to understand Grant on a very deep level in the sense that the first hour of this finale, when we're seeing how unbelievably incredible Letia is and how unbelievably incredible Juliana is, I'm starting to think that if I had both of those two women or those types of women in love with me, I would crash out to levels that no one has ever seen before. I would make Kanye look like child's play, the way my brain would be rattled. Like I'm talking the crash out levels. Maybe not levels he went to in terms of uh being mean towards certain groups of people. No, I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about crash out levels. Okay. I'm talking about I would crash out in a similar way because my brain wouldn't be able to handle that. And so I'm starting to understand some of Grant's actions. He's thrown for a loop. He's in a mental pretzel and he doesn't know what to do. And I can relate to that because I saw today, side by side, he has two incredible women in love with him and he's losing his mind because I would too. And so, Grant, I see you and I hear you.
Yeah, and I think he knew how this was going to be portrayed, like during as it was happening. He kind of knew that, like, I am in love with both these women, and I have been saying a lot of things to both of these women that might look bad. And in the moment, as time went on, he kind of maybe should have recognized that and said some less things or not say some certain things to a certain someone the night before the engagement. I don't know. Cameras were never there. We might not know if that was ever said. All hypothetical, but like
Mm-hmm.
he knew he was screwed. He knew he was screwed. But I still don't think he got like a villain edit. Like I
Yeah.
don't still think he was villainated, villainated,
Villainized. It's
villainized.
villainized.
Yeah, I don't think he was really villainized this season, or even like this episode of the last couple episodes. I think it was all blown out of proportion. And at the end of the day, kind of like what he was saying after the final rose, screw it. I'm happy. I'm gonna happy help with the relationship. Like Grant, Grant and Juliana versus the world.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough at this point. And we'll get there. Let's talk a little bit about his line of questioning at the final date. So he has that final date with Juliana first, which again, I'm assuming it was all one day. He met the family and then they had the date, but they just aired it out of order separately. But anyways, we see that conversation with Juliana first, where he asked her, and do you have the direct quote? Please bring it
Oh,
up.
I do.
Because we thought
Oh,
this
I
was an
do.
insane line of questioning, and I assumed he would ask both, and he didn't.
Yeah. So he said, "Are you ready for an engagement in 2 days, or will you break my heart?" Gaslight much? That's a little bit manipulative. Like you can say, "Oh, it sounds way worse than it is." No matter what,
No.
those words exactly what was
Yeah.
said. That's a little bit messed up. A little bit messed up, and kind of a tough question to answer. And I think Juliana won. Answered it crazy well. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, she answered it. I didn't get her full answer because she was just popping
Yeah.
off, right? But she said, I can promise to hold your heart with care, and saying stuff along that lines, which I was like, good answer, because that was a really tough question.
Yeah. So my question then is, what? Because it felt like to me, he was making sure he had a yes before he made his decision. I think if Juliana says, to be honest, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I'm feeling in that moment. I don't know what it's going to look like in 2 days. I think there might be a little bit of back and forth in Grant's mind at that point. The line of questioning made it seem like, hey, well, there already was back and forth.
There already was a lot of back and
You're
forth.
right. But I think that line of questioning was like, all right, I at least got a yes here. And now I feel better about what I'm about to do.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is a wild way to go through this process.
It's not a wild way to go through it, but like, I feel like he already knew where her head was at, you know, because they kind of had that during their fantasy suite date. Like, she was kind of like, they had the whole teaser of like, oh, are you ready? Like, are you ready for commitment? And then she kind of was like, yes. And she said, I love you and everything like that. So it wasn't the exact, like, if I propose in 2 days, will you say yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like as a viewer, I knew where Juliana's head was at. Like, if he was on a knee, she'd say yes, like, in my opinion. So like, maybe that question was a little bit of an overkill, but
it's not fair that he can get that reassurance, but they can't. The girl can't. Because he can say, like, oh, I know she'll say yes. He can't tell her, I'm going to say yes, I'm going to propose to you, because there's another girl there. So that's not fair.
That's the name of the game, Wyatt.
It's not fair.
That's the name, but it's the name of the game. That's the whole process.
It's a messed up game. It's a messed up game.
It's not fair that one person's dating 25 chicks and that each one of those 25 chicks is dating one dude.
Yeah, but he should have to
take. That's the whole point of this show.
But at the end, all I'm saying is at the end, he should have to take a little bit of a gamble to be like, I don't know if she's going to pick me at the end, because they don't know that he's going to pick her. So he should have to also take a little bit of a gamble and say, hey, I don't know where they're at 100%. Because he basically confirmed, hey, she's going to say yes, I'm good. There was no risk involved for him.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
No, I'm right. I'm right. Tell me I'm right. Don't say I'm not wrong. I'm right.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm right.
Which means you're right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. But I don't know. I mean, it did kind of seem like cheating. It's kind of like he got the seer, like in Traders. He kind of got the seer power where he was like, so are you going to say yes? That's a little.
Yeah, he knew if she was a traitor or faithful, and he found out that she was a faithful, and he was like, I'm good.
Yeah. He's like, let's ride it out to the end. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. So, and she couldn't see if he was a traitor or faithful.
Yeah, she didn't know.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Did we just make a crazy like Traders freaking
little
Bachelor cross reference?
Zach Galifianakis meme. All right.
No, it's not that.
Sorry.
That's not the best use of that meme.
Sorry. I could have done better there. Let's just rip off the Band-Aid. Let's get into it. We get to the moment they've been teasing all season. And Jesse's like, hey.
Let's get to Letia's date. Letia's final date.
Oh, you're right. You want to go there? I was going to kind of lump it all together, but.
Well, yeah. But like the question that he asked Juliana was different than the question
You're right. Back it up.
Or at least we saw.
Reverse.
We didn't. So he asked Juliana the whole, will you say yes in 2 days or are you going to break my heart? Kind of crazy thing to ask. But then to Letia, he didn't ask that same exact question. He asked something. I don't think I have the exact question, but he pretty much asked along the lines of, if I don't want a kid in 2 years, which was your original timeline, would you be willing to wait like a year or two, and Letia's answer was very, very like pro Grant response, saying, yeah, like, honey, we can wait whatever feels right for us. Like, we have to both be excited about it, everything like that. So yeah, there was the whole timeline question, which I don't remember the whole timeline discussion week 2, whenever they had their one-on-one. Yeah. I don't remember that.
I don't think we saw that.
I knew she had a timeline. I mean, every woman, I think, has a timeline. That's
biological.
Nature. That's science. That's science.
Yeah, that's science.
But so he didn't ask her the same question, but it was still like, I would say he got probably the response he wanted from Letia in the question he asked her.
Yeah. Which I didn't think it was the fair question because we talked about it.
Yeah.
It's like she is adjusting to him. They should both water each other, as Juliana said. We got
It's
to
the power
both.
dynamic.
Yeah, we got to water. But at that point, Letia was only watering Grant. Grant wasn't watering Letia. They both got to get wet for this to work. I had to.
No, you're right. And as crazy and weird as the water thing is with watering each other, it makes a lot of sense in a
Yeah,
relationship.
it's kind of
It makes
beautiful.
it's kind of very beautiful
Yeah,
and weird at the same time.
yeah. For us both
But
to flower, we just have to get wet.
yeah, and that's just
Yeah.
like life.
That's life.
You need flower, you need sunshine.
Yeah.
And what's the thing where they like get energy from the sun?
Photosynthesis. Yeah, you got to photosynthesize.
Yo,
Come on now. Come on, Mike.
Science, baby.
Come
Let's
on.
go.
You're dropping photosynthesis on finale week? Come on. Top of your game.
Thank you.
What were you even talking about?
Letia,
Yeah.
you're the prize.
Yep.
You're the prize. You are the prize. You showed it the whole season. You showed it after the final rose. You are the freaking prize. You don't need to be adjusting to no man's timeline.
Mhm.
You are your own woman. Well, yeah, you are a woman,
Yeah.
and your own woman, a strong, independent woman, and the right man will adjust to your timeline, right?
Yeah.
And
That was cute. That was cute, Mike.
your love's out there.
Yeah. Come on. No, then you ruined it. You ruined it with the eyes. Don't do this. Love at first bite. Okay. Let's get into it. Let's get into the jaw-dropping moment, which I think is going to be up there in one of the more iconic moments in Bachelor history, or at least the modern era of Bachelor history.
What?
Letia's bite back at Grant.
I thought you were talking about just like his like whole I need to know.
No, I'm getting there. I'm building a little suspense. Come on. All right.
Oh.
So what happens is we see the tease that we've been seeing all season. Grant and Jesse. Who do I send first? What's it gonna be? Which one am I gonna propose to? Blah, yada, yada, yada. Letia gets out of the limo first. And they make her walk a long way in a dress where it's kind of hard for her to take big strides. She's got to take a little. She's kind of waddled her way down the aisle.
It was funny. It was and it was pouring and there was puddles everywhere.
Yeah, not a great start. Not a great start. So she gets up to the podium, for lack of a better word, starts talking with Grant, confessing her love in a way that brought me to tears, knowing what we knew, that she was about to get her heart ripped out.
And they kissed twice.
To kiss twice. Don't kiss her twice. You're about to rip her heart out in front of all of America. Don't kiss her twice. That's the least you can do as a man. I'm sorry. But she goes on her spiel, gives a speech that brought me to tears, knowing what we know. And then Grant says what he has to say. And there's that moment, and you see it when it clicks to Letia that it's not her. And he's like, I'm not your person. And oh my goodness. But what did she do? She didn't react as America reacted with sadness and somberness and woe is me. She said, I'm going to stand my ground because hold up, backtrack. Look at the receipts of what you've said to me. And she didn't cower. She stood up and was like, yada, yada, yada. You lied to me. You are different than I thought you were. Is unreal. Would rock me to my core if someone said it to me 5 minutes before I'm about to propose to the woman that I supposedly love after telling this person I loved her too. It would rock me to my core. And I bet Grant still loses sleep over that. Letia is probably rent-free in Grant's head to this day. Rightfully so.
Yeah. And she said, oh, you switched up. Like, the switch up is crazy. Like, the switch up is crazy. But, you know, I was kind of arguing, not even devil's advocate. I don't think Grant switched up that much. We saw, you know, he had a stronger connection. We don't know all the things that was said behind closed doors with him and Letia, because he probably did say some things he shouldn't have. I think we all agree with that. He agrees with that. Letia switched up. Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
But in a fiery way.
She didn't switch up.
She saved.
She flipped the switch.
She
She
flipped
flipped a
the
switch.
switch.
Bang.
She was like, "Oh, time to be fiery. I'm on now. Screw you, dude. I'm gonna embarrass you on live television."
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna call you out. That's exactly what she did.
And then at Final Rose, which we'll talk
Mm-hmm.
about, she did that. She did her thing.
Yeah. It was such a heel turn for the Letia we've been seeing. And it was so awesome to see
Yeah,
because
180.
the last month we've been seeing Letia kind of like, I don't know the best way to put it, but she just like, she was all in. She was all in on Grant and almost like in a honeymoon phase of,
Gentle.
yeah. And she had just like, there was this glow around Grant. She was treating Grant like this, like angel of a human being, which again, Grant's
Yeah.
good, like Grant's not a bad guy, but she just had rose-colored glasses towards Grant, is how I will say it. You like that?
I
Come on.
like that.
Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Crush that.
Rose, which is like the things they get in the show.
Yeah, come on now. Come on now. So she had rose-colored glasses for Grant, and we saw that bubble just pop. Like there was this love bubble between them that she thought there was, and as soon as that popped, it's like she saw Grant for who he was, and she just unloaded the clip on this man. And I'm gonna remember that for a while. There's a few moments from like this past, ever since we started this show, I think that's up there with moments I think it's, dare I say, more iconic, and this might be prisoner of the moment. I think that is more iconic than Daisy and Kelsey in the limo.
I'll agree with you here.
Let's go.
I'll agree with you.
Come on.
Because but I do think the most iconic part of the whole Daisy and Kelsey thing, if we're gonna have to do like comparison to apples and oranges, because that's the only thing this season's done this whole season. Everybody's comparing Grant to Joey's season, so might as well do it for the finale.
You're right.
The iconic part I think was Daisy saying like, "I know it's not me."
Yeah.
Like that was iconic because it was sad, but in a different sad way than this Letia breakup was. And the whole them taking the same limo, they're just saving the environment. I don't think it was anything that deep. She knew it was not her. They were friends. They still are friends. Like the whole limo ride together. And one killed the suspense, right? It kind of really killed the suspense because the whole
But
thing,
it sounds like there was no
leg.
suspense. From what it, so here's the other thing with Grant is with Joey, we found out later that there was a lot of reassurance to Kelsey, like, hey, it's you, but we got to go through this process. Grant was kind of doing that to Letia. So like that's what it felt like.
Opposite.
Which is the opposite of what you would do. And then he flipped, and then that happened. So I say let's go to after the final rose, where we get Letia explain what happened and how she's been leaning on her family during this time. And I think the best moment of like the live portion is Grant coming out and they see each other, and she
doesn't shake his hand. She doesn't shake his hand.
She barely looks at him. Doesn't stand up. No hug. No greeting.
She wanted to give her a hug.
And you could see like she had a little bit of confidence to her. Like she was sitting up straight, little swagger, deservingly so. And she just bang, 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 even more receipts. And to be fair, she had 5 months to prepare for this moment. I bet she called up Dina and was like, hey, help me write like a disposition here and just tear him apart. So it was incredible. She brought out receipts. So what all did Grant do? Allegedly, and here's the thing, Grant never disputed any of this. That's the big call, like the big, hey, wave the white flag. I'm owning this, which I do kind of give him credit for, but also not credit because.
But that's crazy.
Yeah, like
no, but it's crazy. It's crazy how like it happened, but like I guess we don't know it happened. But if you're saying, which it starts off with week 2 when he has that little date and they FaceTime Letia's mom, and apparently he tells her mom that like we should just end it here, like she's the one.
Yeah.
And then he kind of says these things, and Letia is saying like after that, she told Grant to kind of back off. Like, hey, like, don't say those things if you're gonna take it all back at the end. Like, I know this process, I know how it works. So don't be saying that and then switch up.
Yeah. Which I don't know if this is against the Mormon culture, but I don't think anyone would have a problem if Letia's dad walked up to Grant and like Will Smithed him a little bit. I don't think anyone's having a problem with that. Probably, I think Grant probably takes it.
I think Brigham Young probably would, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it feels like that might be a no go for the Mormons, but
if they can't have coffee, they probably can't do that either
yeah, probably can't bitch slap someone on live TV.
on national television.
Yeah,
That's
that might
probably
be. I don't know if that's in the
that's
bylaws.
that's it's in the book. It's in the Book of
Yeah.
Mormon.
So
The musical, not the actual.
yeah. So Grant responds very PR-y.
But he at the same time you could tell in his voice that he was off his game. He was off his game. He was stumbling. He knew he was in the corner. Like he was backed up in the corner of the octagon, like just taking punches.
Yeah.
But he didn't deny this stuff. He didn't deny that.
Mhm.
And then apparently the night before the engagement, and he said it was building up all season, but the night before the engagement, she said to him, I can't wait to get engaged tomorrow. And he pretty much said, yes, I love you. I love you. I love you. Which that's reaffirming right there. That's right. Like that's all the reassurance you need.
Yeah, that's
To
it's
say that,
crazy.
and then less than 24 hours later propose to somebody else that's a switch up.
That's a switch up. And the other iconic quote from Letia from this date, or from this episode, not this date, is
Bad date.
I'm excited that this is the last time I have to speak to you.
Yeah.
Is stone cold Steve Austin from the ropes knockout blow. Absolute knockout blow. And she, in that moment, Letia felt like she was speaking up for Juliana. It felt like you got some not skeletons in the closet, but you got some questions to answer after this. And the other important thing to remember is, out of all of this, we are watching this as Juliana's watching this. So
yeah, and Juliana's watching it
backstage with Grant,
still engaged with a ring on her finger. Which at the time when Letia was going in on Grant, I was thinking, all right, yeah, Grant's probably single. This is that. And I was kind of back and forth whether he's single or whether he's still with Juliana or the winner for like the past 3-4 weeks. But during that moment, I was like, yeah, he's single. But then you would find out later.
Yeah. Well, how awkward is that green room? It had to be Juliana and Grant just sitting together watching that.
No, Grant was out there.
No, before Grant got out there, we saw the actual like breakup with Letia.
Oh.
How awkward is that watching?
They might have been. They were probably like, "Hey Grant, we're gonna pull you to get your like makeup ready to go."
Yeah, it's like, hey, we gotta fix you up a little bit.
So
maybe don't wash it.
You'll see Juliana again after. I'm sure you guys won't have anything to talk about. Come here.
Gosh, dude, there's a lot to be. I don't think tonight's all sunshine and rainbows for them right now. I think and they have to have some important conversations. I hope they get through it. I really do. But I think like they need to have some conversations.
I don't think it's that deep to them, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, like, and just especially watching them at the end after the final rose.
You might be right.
I don't think it's that deep. I think they have that mentality that it's Juliana and Grant versus the world, and if people can't talk on our relationship and be like, oh, because how he treated Letia or because he said this to Letia, Juliana should break up with them. That's up to Juliana, and their relationship is up to Juliana and Grant, and it's not up to anybody else, whoever has opinions on it. So, like, I don't think it's that deep. I think, and this took place 5 months ago. Like, yeah, this is all being aired, and he might not have told Juliana certain things he said to Letia, and so she might be finding out some new information. But like, it seems like they've grown since then, and they've gotten hopefully better. Obviously, probably had some happy couples, which normally I feel like they talk about that after the final rose of like how have your happy couple been?
Yeah.
Like, how have you guys been? They didn't really touch on
It's
like
okay.
specifics there,
I was getting a vibe that like they
which was
had not
strange.
seen each other much.
I know. So that's also something where we know they're going to Italy,
Yeah.
but we'll see how. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see
So
if there's any Instagram posts in the next couple months, or I don't know how quick it would be. We should set a line maybe, but like that's kind of
no,
pessimistic.
we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. As
We should
men,
write.
as a show that
Yeah.
loves love, we're not gonna set a line. But like
Well, you know my opinion about
Thanksgiving,
that other bachelor couple,
yeah, it's a
but
crazy take. Don't say that.
yeah, I know.
Mike's
I
been
know.
holding on to a bachelor take for a while that I'm refusing to let him speak out into the world.
I'm refusing to speak in the world.
Yeah.
So
Okay. But let's talk about love. Let's put all that beside for a little bit. Shelf that. Let's talk about love for a second. Juliana. She walks down the aisle to the podium, confesses a little love speech.
they're matching.
They were matching. It's
It's
cute.
cute.
And they get engaged. Neil Diamond killed it again. Got a nice ring. Juliana got a ring. Grant's happy. Juliana's happy. We're happy. All the clouds, everything that's trying to get in our way. At the end of the day, we love love. That takes priority. And if we look back on just their journey, if you have blinders on and you can just look at those two the whole season, it's cute and it works. And I love them.
Yeah.
The fact is, we didn't have those blinders though. So we saw everything and we're cursed with that knowledge, unfortunately. That's why ignorance is bliss. Always is. If we didn't know, we'd be like, this is the happiest couple in the world. I love them so much. Which I do.
But then roles flipped and he proposed to, and he was out there with Letia tonight. We would also be like, this is the happiest couple in the world. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Right? Because like flip a coin. Let's hypothetically say he did flip a coin. Let's say that's how he decided.
Let's say.
If it was the other way, if it was heads instead of tails,
No.
and he proposed to Letia, would Juliana have gone off at him? I don't know.
Maybe.
Would him and Letia still be together happily ever after?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? The world may never. The world will.
The world
never
may
know.
never know. And I do want to shout out us because someone commented recently on a TikTok, said this aged well. We called this about a month ago. We said, hey, we have final 7 here. Which girls would let Grant put out Party Girl? And we said Letia, probably not.
Yeah.
We said Dina, no way. Carolina, maybe. We said Juliana, yes. So that should have been, we should have followed our North Star and trusted that process because it led us here. So
Yeah.
now, what role did Juliana have in Party Girl? Who knows? Who's to say?
Yeah. Because I wonder if she thought it would get backlash. Because it did, right? It got backlash. And, so I don't know. Did she want the backlash? Maybe she wasn't expecting the edit, I guess, or I don't know what she was expecting would happen. Because, I mean, there's been a wide variety of reactions and online chatter about, their relationship and Grant's season in general, which they addressed on After the Final Rose for a solid minute and a half. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like a little confused.
And it's so
it.
funny comparing, and I don't want to take this like out of the show too much, but comparing like Grant's social media like behavior the last couple months and Juliana's, where Juliana's been like very playful and like making fun of herself, and she interacted with us a ton. Grant has as well in a different way.
First one to follow us. First one to follow us.
Yeah, and which again, I couldn't even think of a single bad word to say about Juliana. She's an angel. And now it's like we're in this. The way it played out tonight put Juliana in a tough spot, in an impossible spot, honestly.
Yeah,
because you're showing that engagement directly after we learned a lot of information. So knowing what we knew at that time, it's hard to like be rah-rah, hell yeah, so happy for them. It's like, oh, but does she know? That's what we're thinking. And it's just, I don't know. It
And
felt I felt icky.
it's like if she knows, like, why is she still with him, everything like that. But
Like, who
like,
cares at this point?
you gotta, and she said this on After the Final Rose. It's like, you gotta trust the process. You gotta actually Joel and beat up in there. You gotta trust the process that, like, yeah, I mean, he dated 24 other people while he dated me, but at the end of the day, he chose me, and me and him are good together, and me and him are happy. So I don't care if he said certain things to Letia 4 months ago. Like, yeah, maybe not the smart decision. Maybe he was a little playery, but
Mm-hmm.
hell, I think if you go on a show with 24 other women to date one guy, you're kind of a player too.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And she did give us one of maybe my favorite quotes that we've ever had on the show. Life's too serious to take
Like,
seriously.
seriously, yeah.
I love that.
Which maybe she like messed that up. Like, honestly, think about it, like, it is a fire deep quote.
It's kind
Maybe
of
she
fire.
actually meant to say like life's too short to take seriously, but she thought of the word seriously
Yeah.
before instead of short, and so she said life's too serious, and then she's like,
Take
to
seriously.
take seriously, because she couldn't say shortly.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think she just messed it up. We'll have to ask her.
Yeah.
Did you mess it up? Not responsive.
That's PR trained for sure. All right. Where else do we want to go? Anything else from those three? Because we do have to talk about Paradise.
Oh, we're not talking about Zoe.
Zoe's lumped in there with the Paradise, which we'll get to in a second. Anything else? Final thoughts on all of that, all of the mess. Which I do want to say, this finale as a whole delivered. It delivered on what we were promised. Now, is it delivering because a majority of the rest of the season maybe under-delivered? Maybe. And we'll do a full recap of the season. We'll give out awards, and we'll talk about the season as a whole. But this finale by itself, it delivered. We got a lot of mess. We got some iconic moments. And at the end of the day, we got love. So I can't complain too much. So we got this almost contradicted the chaos paradox that I talked about. Because we had pretty chaotic moments in this finale, and we still got love at the end.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not saying that like I don't want the love at the end, because obviously I do, but like, I was kind of hoping for even more chaos.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted some receipts being shown. I wanted, like, Letia had a lot of fire, and one on one with Grant, she kind of went off, but she went off reserved. I wanted her to unleash the full beast. To be honest, I really did. And I don't know, when I'm thinking about the quote that she told us that, like, we don't have clips of, there's no clips of him saying, like, I can't wait to be engaged with you or whatever, like the night before engagement, and then him choosing somebody else. Like, can we like talk about that? Like, that's insane.
Insane.
That is insane. That could be 10-15 minutes of the reunion, let alone like just getting in, and like, Jesse, I want you to interrupt there, and I want you to like pick the brain and be like, yo, Grant, why'd you say that? Or like, how that make you feel? Like, get people going, get that go. Like, that is dramatic. That is drama right there. That is what we need. That's chaos.
Yeah.
And I live the chaos.
I don't think at this point, I'm always a proponent of dropping the receipts. I think we can. I'm a Michael Jackson meme. Put the guns down. We don't need the receipts. Grant never disputed it.
Yeah.
He said what Letia said he said. We all know it.
He didn't technically say he said what he said. He just said, like, I'm sorry, and I said some things.
He never. Okay, you don't say that. If Letia says that and it's a lie, Grant,
you address it right away.
that. I'd be like, I didn't
and you
say
that. I didn't say that. Like,
Yeah.
You're actually insane. You're just saying that now to like save face.
Yeah. So
Which, if she did do that, that would be also good to watch, fun to watch too.
But I'm gonna Michael Jackson meme, put the guns down,
Yeah.
and say we don't need it. We don't need these receipts. We know it. So
we don't need it.
that's where we're at. And
But it would be cool. So, Devin, if you have those receipts, put them on your Instagram story.
Oh, I forgot about that entire. Oh, he released so many messages.
But those weren't receipts. They were literally just
It was
conversations
a
they had.
unbelievable.
They were just
Devin.
conversations.
Unbelievable. All right. Anything else you want to talk about Paradise? I'm sure we'll do a full season recap with awards and everything. So if we miss something, we can talk about it then. But I think we hit the most of it.
Yeah, no, a lot of it.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's bring the girls in for this, and we'll talk about Paradise. We'll get their reactions as well, so maybe they'll have something to add. All right, ladies, how we doing? How we feeling after that? So, to brief everyone, Lizzie, you watched the full thing live, right?
I did, yes.
And then, Charlotte, do you want to tell people what you've been up to the last couple hours?
Okay, I'll show my cool shirt.
Of course, you bought merch.
I got merch. I was at live with Jake Shane and not watching the Bachelor finale.
Hold up, I'm gonna interrupt real quick. You bought Jake Shane merch. I offered you free BachMaker merch, and you didn't get any.
I didn't know it was free.
I literally said I'll send you whatever. You work here, Charlotte.
I did think I had to pay for it, and that is why I kept my
I'm not gonna
mouth
make you
shut.
pay for. Anyway, sorry.
Does the offer still stand?
No, offer rescinded. Wear your Jake Shane merch. Enjoy.
It was like a really spur of the moment purchase. I went to pee in the middle. I saw the merch and was open. I asked the dude, like, what shirt should I get? And he was like, I like tour dates. And I was like, I'll get the tour dates one.
Okay, so how was Jake Shane? Want to give a little 30-second recap?
Oh my god, I giggled so much. And then in the beginning, he said something about White Plains, New York, and I was like, woo, because New York. And then he was like, why? Because we're in Athens, Georgia. And I was like, I failed my road test there. And he was like, have you been to the White Plains Mall? And I was like, no. And he was like, then I don't believe you. And I was like,
oh, you got cooked. He cooked your ass.
I was in the third row. Well, there was a little pit in the front, like a teeny, but then I was right there, and it was awesome, so funny. But I was sad to miss it. But then there was a bar close by that was showing it a huge screen. So me and my friend Gabby, we sprinted over after. So we didn't want to miss it. And her friends were there, so they were texting oh, it's getting bad.
So, what thoughts do you girls have that
talked at 60 miles per hour? That was hard.
I'm
that
so
was hard.
sorry.
So, okay, thoughts on the finale. Lizzie, we'll start with you. You watched the full thing.
Okay, one, sad that my girl did not win. Still loved Letia and Juliana equally. Letia went off, as she fucking should.
Mm-hmm.
She had every right to say that to him.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Fair enough. Charlotte, how much did you catch of Letia's segment?
None. I got there right before they showed the engagement.
Okay.
So I missed everything.
Can I?
It's just all the fun, the fun drama.
Can I ask?
Yeah, she missed all of the fun.
I want one thing for you. If you do anything for BachMakers, when you watch this back, can you set up your phone? And I want to see your reaction.
Yeah, I guess.
What?
I'll do my best.
Just one thing.
I feel like I won't, I could never go on one of these shows. I feel like I won't be able to be my authentic self if I'm on camera. I feel like it'll be a show. I'll be like,
Are you your authentic self right now?
Yeah, I'm talking. I'm having a conversation.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess. Fair. Maybe just don't do it. I ask one thing.
I'm gonna do it.
You can forget it's there. Just put it in the corner. I just want to see your reaction to some of this.
Can I have a friend be in it?
Of course.
Can I not
have Bangs?
Oh, sweet girl.
Michael, you would love Bangs. Bangs is awesome.
You love Bangs.
Her name is Bangs?
Yeah, her name is Bangs.
Bangs.
Or is it does she just
really
have
didn't
bangs?
watch. She's
you
Bangs,
didn't watch our
sure.
dress power ranking
You didn't
from
watch
night one?
No, you guys didn't invite me to be in it, so I didn't.
It was during the middle of a work day. Sorry, but Bangs filled in nicely.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Okay, so yeah, we'll get your reactions later, but let's do Paradise talk. So they tease this Paradise twist that's coming up, and Michael and I were throwing out ideas. What could it be? Maybe they're gonna make it R-rated. They're not gonna do it on ABC, and we'll get a little more raunchy. Maybe they'll add some twists like Love Island. And what we got are
Zoe comes out.
Oh yeah, Zoe comes out.
And then it pans. It comes back from commercial break, and it's Zoe. And I'm like,
5 minutes left of the episode after one of the wildest finales we've had. It's just Zoe. And I'm like, are they about to say she's a bachelorette? Like we were kidding. We're having the bachelorette and she is.
I saw that text and I was like, there's no
It was
way.
unbelievable. I was like, what is Zoe doing here? And they were like, Jesse had to do the like, oh, like, how you been? Like small talk. It's just to like ease into paradise talk. So then she is invited to paradise. Zoe accepts. So Zoe will be there. Confirmed. All we know is on the non-golden side, to spoil the tease there, we know Jonathan, Hakeem, and Zoe. Is Leia confirmed?
No, not
No,
technically, I
but
don't
feels
think
as
so.
confirmed as one could be, maybe. So, but those three are for sure confirmed. And then the twist, who is also confirmed. We have the golden grannies and the golden grandpas also on the beach. So Leslie and Gary are going to be there, and some other golden cast members. What do we think? What is this?
I literally don't understand. Like, what does that mean?
I don't understand it either. Like, are they gonna have two separate places for the Goldens and then the non-Goldens?
Wait, my thought was like,
Or are
like
they
MILF Manor.
It's MILF Manor.
Like, is it gonna be like MILF Manor vibes?
I'll
No,
say
they're
this:
not gonna date each other. I'm
Leslie-
sorry.
if
No.
Pascal is there, he's gonna
Oh.
date. He's gonna try to date one of the girls,
No.
the non-golden girls. But I don't think. I think
That-
they're gonna be separated. I genuinely think we're gonna have like two different villas, and then like once a week they'll have like brunch together. Like, what's happening on your side of the island, and that's it.
And it's gonna get old really quick, and there's too many
No.
storylines to follow.
I was gonna say I don't get. I
Yeah,
hope
I
it's
don't
so, but, like, I
understand it.
don't have the highest hopes.
Because I think some
Unless it's
some
like-
watchers are only gonna watch for, I think, the young people, especially like the people that don't really
Yeah.
watch The Bachelor and Bachelorette, but they're like Bachelor in Paradise, beach, hot people, bikinis. Let's watch,
Mm-hmm. You're combining.
and then half the show when it's old people. No offense to old people, but who are less hot, they're not gonna want to watch it.
That's the thing. You're combining two audiences that don't like each other. So you have the Bachelor in Paradise audience. The people who swear by Bachelor in Paradise are the people who crave the mess. We want the mess. We want the slop. We want messy, messy beach drama. And then you have the golden side of things where that's like the older, the more mature Bachelor Nation members who are strictly there for the love, the genuine love of the game. And we want to see this love blossom on TV. Those two audiences don't mix. It's not gonna work. And we tread the line in between, I think, fairly well. We're like in between both audiences. But those two sides of Bachelor Nation are very distinct. Bachelor Nation's big enough, they have separate states. And those are two very separate states. And I don't think it works.
Okay, the only way I could see it working is if they do like the normal 2 hours and 1 hour of it is golden and 1 hour of it is.
I would skip
That's
the
like
golden.
way too much
No.
golden.
I think I would skip the golden.
They're gonna go
It's
back
too
and
much.
forth, but then it's gonna be a weird dynamic of how much screen time for this, how much screen time for that. Some weeks are gonna be more golden than regular, and then some weeks can be more regular than golden. It's like trying to do the two bachelorettes. Like, it's gonna be a failure the first time. I'm sorry. They're taking a risk. This is their last ditch effort to not only save, I think, not just save the Golden franchise or save Paradise, but like low-key to like save Bachelor in general being on national television. Because I think there's a chance it
Mhm.
could just be demoted to Hulu. And it could just
Yeah.
be a subscription thing, right? If it doesn't get the numbies. Right? Maybe
Yeah. I
I'm
don't-
wrong. And
I
I
don't
don't know how that
disagree.
side of the business works.
I don't disagree either with that.
I just
but
don't think
the
this can be.
product, like this is a last ditch home run, last ditch Hail Mary. And if they fail, they fail. So I think this can't be the only switch they
Yeah.
do in Paradise. And the only twist. Like they need this shit to work for Paradise. And there's
Like-
there's a
Mhm.
lot of pressure on it. A lot of pressure.
What would you rather watch? A Bachelorette season with Alex or a Golden Bachelor in Paradise?
Well, that's the thing. You could still do Golden in Paradise.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's gonna be called. Golden in Paradise.
No,
But
they're
just
just
do
gonna
it
call it.
separate and do it like
Yeah, they're just gonna call it Bachelor in
They should
Paradise.
do it- separate. They should, like, in Summer House, there's Summer House, but they would do Winter House, which, I mean, I guess the other seasons were longer, but it's a shorter span. Like, they're not there the whole summer. They're there for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then the first season of Winter House was 6 episodes, as opposed to the normal like 14 to 17 episode seasons. So, like, why couldn't they have done just like a mini special that's like 2 or 3 weeks long
On a cruise ship, like I said,
on
Yeah.
a cruise
with
ship?
shuffleboard and
Good
pickleball.
idea.
Yeah. Like they don't
Good.
have they're gonna try to mingle amongst the
I
people,
know.
but there's
And
not
it-
a lot of common interest there.
It will be a cool dynamic to see like some of the younger girls like becoming friends with the older,
Yeah.
golden gals and everything like that. And like that'll be cute. Like
Yeah.
shit will kind of get old really quick. And like they're
It's like a
they're there to
friends
flirt with each other of the different ages. And then if things do get weird and like one of the golden grandpas gets I don't know. It's just like
Yeah. I mean, like, let's think, like, not to get
MILF
weird.
and MILF Manor, at least that was their actual parents. Like that was their
Yeah.
actual dad. It was son and father. So that kind of makes sense. This is just like strangers but of the same franchise, so it's completely
Like,
different.
like again, I don't want to get too weird with it, but how many old grandpas would you trust to not be weird on a beach with a bunch of young hot singles?
And a lot of alcohol.
I don't want this to like ruin these sweet old men also.
Yeah.
If like one of them is
I
accidentally
don't either. I just feel like it's like
I-
a weird concept.
I want to keep them in this like bubble of like perfection.
Yeah.
Well, whatever that they are
Yeah,
now.
they're
of,
golden.
like
They're golden.
they're golden. Yeah,
And-
I want them to be golden, not like bronze. I don't know. What's
Yeah, bronze.
Hello? Something else.
Yeah. And my thing is like now with cast size, how do you make the cast size? Because now it's got to be like what 50-50 with golden
Yeah.
and young people, but at the
That
same
explains
time,
why no one's going to paradise.
yeah. So who's going to paradise for the young people? But like if you have less young people in paradise, that's less chance of the whole point of paradise, love, right? Of finding their person.
Mhm.
And then same with the golden people, which one you only have 2 seasons to choose from. You literally have one golden bachelor season and one golden bachelorette season. And I feel like half of the people that actually made it somewhat far are already in other relationships. So it's like I don't even know. I can't even list off. So it's gonna be like Keith.
If
Gary-
he can't talk to women,
If Charles L's not there,
if Charles L's
I-
not there, we're done. Done.
like
we're not.
I
welcome.
actually don't know if it's just who's that guy? Was it Gary, the guy that was
Jonathan.
out there?
Oh, Gary. Gary was there. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's just like him, Jonathan, and Keith,
Jonathan has a girl.
They
Wait.
broke up. I
Oh,
think they
oh,
broke up.
oh. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry for
I,
him.
it's just like there's not enough content.
Is
like,
Jordan gonna be there?
yeah, maybe,
Oh,
maybe
Jordan will probably be there.
Jordan and Leslie.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah. Jordan, Leslie,
Yeah.
in paradise.
That's my golden couple.
Okay, wait. This all makes sense now as to why Jonathan was with the Goldens.
Yeah. That makes sense. But like, I don't want to get
Still,
too like.
you could do it separate. Like you could wait. You can have another season of Golden Bachelor and another Golden Bachelorette season, and do this later. Like, what's the point of just mixing this all in now? There's already so much hype for Paradise returning. You took a whole
This-
summer off. There's so much hype. Why are you taking risks? Like,
This
relax.
really points to them freaking out behind the scenes because,
Yep.
and I don't want to get too like or was it behind baseball? Is that the term?
sure,
Whatever. We're
Sure,
Batchmaker
yeah.
after hours at this point, so who cares? Now, they probably looked at this. All right, we got to make Paradise work. What within our franchise has worked recently? And I think they overvalue the Golden franchise. We like the Golden franchise because it's a reset from the sloppy mess that we sometimes get with the Bachelor, Bachelorette. It's a nice little palate cleanser. That's all the Golden franchise is. And I don't want to diminish it because I do enjoy it, but it's a palate cleanser
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
the rest of the franchise. They're overvaluing it by making it a bigger part. It had its perfect little window in Bachelor Nation. And it was a perfect little pocket right there in like the fall that we watched that season. We love these golden gals, these golden grandpas. But that's it. We don't need more of that. We don't I don't know. I
Let's
just
be fair. We did have the idea of Gold in Paradise,
we did. They
the
stole
whole
from
like
us.
cruise ship
Yeah.
idea.
That
But
worked.
we said it was like small spinoff, and we never said mix them in with the young people. Actually,
joked
I feel like
about
we did.
We joked about
We
it.
joked about it,
Yeah.
but like in one of our joking bad bits, kind
Yeah.
of like never gonna happen.
We're like, we said they should send like 2 of them down, not like
Yeah.
half and half.
And we had so many other great ideas for Paradise that they're probably not going to use,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy.
They should have challenges like in Love Island.
Like get it.
That'd be fun. They should bring back Bachelor winner games.
Fan vote.
Fun.
Too. Like
Oh.
fan vote and like push the shit out like 2 days later.
Well, they can't. They can't do a fan vote because they have to like heavily edit
Yeah.
the season. So
Okay,
well,
it can't
edit
be
quick.
one
Get good.
day.
Love
I
Island
haven't-
turns that.
Can I have?
Stuff
I
around
have
in 2
one more.
days.
I have an idea. Lizzie, you
I
go
have one
first.
more idea about this. Okay, so after we've just been talking about this, I feel like I could see them doing it as like maybe like a half season and a half season. With like half season is like full Bachelor in Paris, like the young people, and then the other half is the old people.
They're going to
What?
Paris, not Paradise.
Paris? You can't half-ass it. I don't think. I think it has to be
Full
co-mingled.
assed. It has to be
Full.
full
You have to
assed.
full ass. You got a bare ass for sure.
Full ass. Double
Okay.
cheeked up.
My idea is, what if you pair them up like a team? So like each golden person gets a regular person, and then the only way to stay regular. Not what I meant.
A young person. that also
Matchmaker
works.
after hours. No one's allowed to clip that. I didn't mean that, but
Like a mentor?
kind of.
Of sorts?
But in the way where like you only stay on the island if you matchmake for your partner. So like let's say Leslie and Jonathan are paired up. So Leslie's trying to find a match for Jonathan, and then Jonathan's trying to find a match for Leslie. And if they don't find a match, if Leslie doesn't find a match, like Jonathan's kicked off the island and she gets a new partner or something like that.
Okay.
That-
And they're-
I
They
mean-
match with each other.
They can't match with each other.
Is that like the tease of it all? That in the end, like they're looking for each other's
Yes.
partners, but find out their true
If
partner.
this was a Hallmark movie, yes, for sure.
I love Hallmark
But that
movies.
idea
I do
has given
too.
me a little bit of hope. If they do something crazy like that.
I don't think that's crazy, but I also think that takes out a lot of like the girl on girl drama. Like, okay,
Yeah.
like all the young people drama and all the all that comes with
Yeah.
Paradise.
I'm just trying to make this work. I'm
I
trying.
know, and there's got to be. They're probably thinking we announced this. Now let's figure out how to make it work too.
Yeah.
Because now they're-
everyone's
they're
gonna love this, and they're seeing online like, oh.
They probably have like literally no idea what is going
They're
to
probably
happen.
going on the Reddit after this and just
Yeah.
going to be looking at the fan ideas of what's going to happen and just going to pick out some of those.
Oh my god.
They'll send
I
their
just think we need another Bachelorette
spies.
season. We need more dudes for the beach, like
Yeah.
new ones. Like I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm missing characters that I'm excited to see down on the beach, unless they pull from like
Deep in the
a
bag.
long time ago. It is always funny when they pull from really far back, and you're like, "Who is
Yeah,
this
you're like,
dude?"
what?
And then I don't know. Then it's fun. So I hope they do that for my sake
Yeah.
because I miss some of the past seasons. But
We'll see. We will
But
see.
I think they should, if they were really scrambling and doing all this, they should have just paid Maria what she wanted to be paid.
It's another
They should have
point.
just done it. They should have just done it and had a Bachelor season with Maria and then limped into Paradise with a bunch
Yeah.
of dudes that would
How
be
much does
casted
the
for
league
Maria, which the dudes would be awesome.
I feel like that's a good question.
I don't know what the number
Charlotte.
is
like how much more, and why does she need to get more than everyone else?
because she's Maria and she has the asking power at this point. They're
She has-
desperate. She has negotiating power. I mean, like genuinely,
Yeah.
that's the answer. The Bachelorette needs Maria. Normally, it's like the lead would need the show. They need Maria. So like she has all the power. So she can be like, "This is my number. Pay me this, or I'm not doing it." So I don't know how that went behind the scenes, and maybe one day, hopefully very soon, we can ask her.
But like, I don't want a Bachelorette that's like I need all like I don't know. Then like, don't be my Bachelorette. Then
She's not.
I don't know.
She's not your Bachelorette.
Yeah, she's American.
She's
I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
I can't wait. We're gonna have
Like,
Maria
Josh
on,
is-
and I'm just gonna like Charlotte go. Unleashed.
I would, yeah,
No, I'm not.
I want you to go off
No.
against Maria.
yeah,
You
yeah.
really
try
have
that.
I
this
have-
beef.
And
Wait.
we'll turn on Charlotte. We'll be like, yeah, get her.
I'm not
I already
anti-Maria
have turned on
at
Trevor this
all.
whole season.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-Maria. I enjoyed her all of Joey's season, but like, I'm sorry, but like, I feel like I wouldn't say this about one specific person in the entire franchise. Like, no one is like truly like that special enough that like they should get to like be like, well, I demand this to be the lead of the show.
That's how
Then you're
all
there for the
business
wrong
works,
reason.
Okay,
though. That's
normally,
how all
yes.
business
Okay,
works.
you're there for the
But the
wrong reasons.
Bachelor
and if everyone
franchise has
knows
never
the man
been
for the
this low.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just
Okay,
how business
fine.
works.
Then make her the lead.
You know, it's
then go get a job at ABC and cast her if that's what you want. So
I'm
bad.
not saying I even want it at this point. I'm just saying she has the like.
But I don't want someone who doesn't want to do it on their own. Like I don't know. But
That's
then she doesn't
fair.
want to be there.
That's fair. That's
like
fair.
that's what, my point is that like she doesn't want to do it clearly. So why do I want to watch her?
That's a
not
good
wanna
point.
do
That's a
it?
good point. I'll concede that.
because you know she put on a show. That's
Yeah.
why. You know she put on a
She
show.
will. She would put on a show. That is
Well,
for sure.
okay, fine. So I would still watch it, obviously. But like,
Oh
I
man.
just say,
All right. Well, we can kind of wrap up here. That's a good encapsulation of how this season has gone. Just Michael and Charlotte
Okay, wait.
killing each other.
Imagine a dual bachelorette, kind of like Gabby and Rachel, with Carolina and
And
Maria.
Jen.
Oh, man.
nope. I wouldn't want to imagine that.
Charlotte's
I
gonna
would.
know.
I would.
I knew Michael would.
I mean,
would.
I'd watch the fuck out of that.
I mean, the
But-
chaos would be insane because you know they'd
Oh,
be
the chaos
they'd be
alone.
getting after it. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
they'd be fighting over dudes too.
Yeah, we did bachelorettes
Oh.
where they're friends. I want bachelorettes where they don't like each other.
No, I don't. I love female friendship positivity.
All right. Well, let's wrap up. We've been kind of not negative, but just critical the last 20 minutes here. So let's wrap up final roses about whatever we want. Let's try to end on a positive note. Who wants to go first?
I have a positive note. I'm excited for the happy couple. I saw a tweet that said they did their lone wolf thing together, so maybe they are each other's person. And I was like, you know what? Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? Hell
You
yeah.
know
I
both-
feel like, you know what they say? Like,
both kinda
let them.
cringe.
Like, if they're happy, let them be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy. They're happy. Also, Grant's nice. Juliana, like, they're so. I'm happy. They're a good couple. Like, Letia will find her person, and it will be Grant, and she will look back on this experience and be like, I am glad that this experience led me to this other person who probably matches her values, lifestyle, in ways that like Grant could not at all.
Yeah.
That is my
Hell
choice.
yeah. Good shit, Charlotte. Anyone else?
Hop off.
Final rose?
Um,
I got a couple.
I'm trying to think of what my final rose.
I'll
would be.
give two of mine and then I'll finish with one. Two of mine.
Okay.
One final rose goes to all of us. We were mentioned tonight at the final live event. Juliana mentioned outside noise. That would be us. We're the outside noise. So congrats to us. We did it. We were mentioned at the live portion. So I'm
oh, I
proud
know
of
my
us.
final rose.
And then my other one. Go first in case I steal it.
Okay, well, I'm probably gonna steal it because I just thought of it. My final rose is how in the freaking hell is Party Girls not mentioned at after the final rose or this whole season? This whole season. This got released the day before, which I think was actually the week before, but people didn't find it until the day before.
Mhm.
The season started, and they're just not going to talk about it at all. But you're going to use all of this whole, like, Grant's a basketball player and musician. Like, he's got the first 3 episodes is all about him rapping, pretty much, right?
Mhm.
He rapped every episode. Charlotte made sure we knew
Yeah.
about it. Like, she, talked about it.
It was
How she loved it.
It was so good. I miss it.
So I
So,
kept
like-
advanced analytics for this finale. We had 8 I don't knows said by Grant, 0 party girl mentions, and 4 mentions of the lone wolf tattoo. So suck on that, Bachelor data. Just kidding. Susanna's a friend of the program. We love her. I should post that graphic as if it's like Bachelor
You
data
should.
graphic.
I wonder if Carolina's still winning in screen time after this episode.
Maybe.
Probably not. She
Probably
probably
not.
got past this episode.
I would hope so.
That'd be so.
Okay, so my final rose is going to go to Party Girl
That's better.
because it deserved better.
Deserve better.
Yes. We needed more party girls
Oh.
mentioned.
There's gonna be a new song released.
This song, 100. Okay, over under 2 weeks for a new song to come out. You know he's been sitting on it.
Under for sure.
It might be out by the time people are listening to this episode.
Yeah.
But all right.
I feel like it could be like a love song for Juliana.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, it's gonna be so
Nights
good.
like this don't come around too often.
Yeah.
Featuring
forget
Jay.
that.
Yeah,
Featuring
Jay Way is
Jay.
gonna be featured in it. All right, my final roses, and to put a bow on this season, one small final rose goes to Maddie Smokes, who came on to this episode or this podcast week 2 to recap, and we found out he's close with Juliana. He didn't give us even a crumb of that he knew this ended up well for Juliana, which talked to him a little bit. He never really asked details, so I don't think he really knew exactly. I probably assumed things, but anyways, good for him for not spoiling anything for us. And then finally, the final rose goes to the BachMaker fans. All of you, this has been the best season numbers-wise across the board. It's been very fun to cover. It's had its ups and downs, but you stuck with us the whole way. We did live streams for every episode for the first time. Shout out to everyone who watched those as well. Those will continue for Paradise and other shows. So thank you, everyone. And yeah, we'll see you. We'll be here next week. We got some fun interviews in between in between seasons. So stay tuned. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. But thank you genuinely. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Peace. Thanks for watching this episode of BachMakers. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider joining our Patreon page linked in the description below. It's $5, cup of coffee, and it helps support us a ton. Thank you, and maybe we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and from next week on the BachMakers, we shave Wyatt's head off.
Maybe. Only one way to find out.
By tuning in.
That was implied.
Back to you in the studio.
And cut.
Thanks, Julianne.